Welcome, billionaires. Welcome back to the channel. We're going back over Takeoff's update. HPD finally giving us something to work with. Something. They still ain't giving us shit, but it's a little bit of something. So HPD collected footage from the House of Blues and other businesses surrounding the bowling alley, along with cell phone footage from the 34 individuals who were outside with Quavo at the time when the argument started. The footage accounts for events that took place before, during, and after the shooting, which is what I was initially saying. Like, if we have all of this footage from all these other businesses, we should definitely have some footage from inside of the bowling alley after all the events took place. So now, HPD is confirming that for us. So they're saying before the shoot, it was 34 individuals standing outside the bowling alley where Quavo was arguing with Mike Prince. He was the dude that had on a white hat, and he was also arguing with Lil Kim and some other dude named Christopher Watkins. What the public was able to see is when Quavo was arguing with Mike Prince. Like, Mike Prince was the one who kept telling him about basketball. Like, Quavo was going back and forth, and he was like, "Nah, I ain't finna play no basketball. They already saw me play basketball." Like, that's who Quavo was talking to, Mike Prince, at that time. And so it was confirmed the argument was over the dice game earlier. And Lil Cam and Christopher supposedly had won some money off Quavo from the dice game. So after the little argument, when we saw Quavo about to walk off, that's when we heard the punch. Now, the punch came from Migo Bands, which they said his name is Willie Bland. The punch came from Migo Bands, and he punched Lil Kim. So from there, HPD was able to see on camera footage where it captures two different males with firearms, and one of them is Migo Bands, which is Willie Bland. From there, they had a firearms examiner. He was able to find 9 .40 caliber casings fired from one single weapon and a 9mm casing, which came from a different weapon. The video shows Willie Bland, which is Migo Bands, shooting, but supposedly the trajectory taken from his direction isn't consistent with Takeoff's injuries, which is why he was initially the person that was of interest. He was the first person of interest, but clearly after they got his statement and based on what he said and after matching ballistics, they were able to pretty much count him out as a suspect who actually killed Takeoff. Now, this is the story that we have first heard from whoever sent the text message that was supposedly at the bowling alley that night. They said that Migo Bands was the one who had shot Takeoff. So clearly HPD was able to count him out as a suspect with all the evidence that they had and ballistics reports. Here's how they say they getting Patrick. So supposedly Patrick was also one of the 34 individuals that was outside when Quavo was arguing with Mike and Lil Cam them. And Patrick allegedly pulled his firearm and fired multiple times in Takeoff's direction before Takeoff collapsed. Video footage doesn't show any other suspects shooting from Patrick's direction. Footage only captures Patrick shooting, and they actually see him shooting because it's muzzle flashes, like from clearly his direction and his gun. They see the flashes, so they already see that he's the one shooting. And they also were able to see him running to the House of Blues, and as we saw, like, there's only one exit. So when everybody started running, he was one of the ones who ran towards the House of Blues direction. But he ran back to the bowling alley. And when he ran back in the bowling alley, that's when they were able to get the camera footage of him actually with the gun. And they were able to see that he had the gun at the time. Now, when Patrick had ran to the House of Blues, he had sat down a wine bottle that he had in his hand. So when he sat down the wine bottle, he ran back into the bowling alley. And from there, that's when HPD basically got that wine bottle to test it for forensics to get his fingerprints to actually match him. HPD did search Patrick's truck and they were able to find a .45 caliber gun, but they weren't able to find the actual gun used in the killing. So that's where the issue lies at this point, is they still need to find the weapon. And HPD knows that this is a crucial part of their investigation, is to actually find the weapon, because it can be hard to charge somebody with a murder if you don't have the weapon for that person. But sometimes enough evidence can be substantial enough for them to be charged. This is pretty much how all of this shit is unfolding. Now, we still can't say whether Patrick actually did it, because this could all still be corruption. We don't know. We gotta let HPD submit all of their evidence to the courts and let the jury do their thing with all the evidence that they're trying to say. Now, clearly Patrick think he's innocent if he want to hire a private investigator, because that would be a waste of fucking money. If he know he was the one shooting and possibly did kill Takeoff, that would be a waste of money for him to be trying to hire a private investigator when he already didn't put all of his money into his expensive ass defense attorney. So we got to see what's going on. We got to let HPD present their evidence to the courts and see if all of this is actually true. Because at the end of the day, I'm still kind of lost as to why wasn't Patrick the first one arrested. If HPD already had all of this evidence initially, why wasn't Patrick the first person arrested? It took them to arrest Lil Cam on a bullshit ass felony gun charge before they even got to Patrick. So that's the part I don't understand. So this all could still be alleged corruption. We just gonna let HPD submit all the evidence they got to the courts and let the courts decide, do they feel like if Patrick actually did this? We still want justice for Takeoff, bitches. Don't play with it.